What's going on, guys? Welcome to Never Lift Alone. I created this YouTube channel to keep myself accountable and to keep you accountable to getting your lift in every single day. So I'm pumped to have you here working out with me today or just tuning in. It's going to be a good one. It's Wednesday. We got leg day. All right, without further ado, we'll go ahead and jump into the warm-up. So we're going to start with some high knees to get the body nice and loose. Alright, get those knees up there. Getting the blood flowing. Alright, now on the stream we've got a little Q&A in the bottom right corner as well. That was yesterday's last question, so we'll jump it forward. Alright. If you could master one cooking skill today, what would it be? If I could master one cooking skill today. 10 more seconds on the high knees. Probably. Alright, forward arm circles. Start small, gradually make them bigger. I would say I feel like I can always improve on my grilling technique for steaks. I feel like I'm decent at grilling steak, but man, I love throwing a nice grill, good New York strip on the good New York strip steak on the grill. That is unbeatable. All right, leg swings, front to back, then side to side. So I feel like there's always room to improve there. That would probably be the one I'd want to really master. Side to side. Other leg. Alright, body weight lunges. I'm going to get a couple more leg swings in because my hammies are pretty tight. All right. Okay. Loosen up whatever else you need to. Like I said, my hamstrings are pretty tight. So I'm going to try to stretch those out a little bit more. I was running sprints earlier this week. I've started to incorporate those into my schedule. Alright, we're going to get set up for our first exercise, which is going to be barbell box squat. Just go ahead and get set up for that. I'll get my weight on there. Okay, we're going to jump into this first set. Alright, I'm just going to verify the weight that I'm doing here. Alright, yeah, I'm going to do 135 135 for the first set, just a warm-up set. We're doing 3 sets of 8. Three sets of 8. All right. Go ahead and rest up. We got 3 minutes rest for our second set. Okay, our next 2 sets are going to be working sets. So put whatever weight you want on there. Alright, we got 2 minutes here before our next set. I am going to stretch my hamstrings out a little bit more because I'm still tight. And we'll move forward to our next question. Oh, if you have not done so yet, be sure to download the lifting log as well. That is linked in the description below. If you're watching on your phone, just go to the description below, click the link. That's going to take you there. That's going to be what allows you to track all of the weight that you're doing for every exercise and make sure that you're getting stronger week over week. I built that exactly for these workouts. So download that lifting log there. If you're watching on your computer or TV, you can just scan the QR code. All right, next up. Which book character would make the best workout sidekick today? Which workout character would be the best workout sidekick today? I feel like Mr. Incredible. I feel like he'd be a solid guy. He'd be pushing you in the weight room for sure. Personality-wise, though, I don't know. I don't know if he'd be the most engaging. I'll have to think on that one a little bit more. Thinking like, who would I want to spend the most time with? That's also gonna push me in the weight room. Alright, we got our next set of box squat. 8 reps here. Two sets down. Two sets down. All right, 3 minutes rest. 2 more minutes before we jump into our next set. The legs are feeling it already. I started running sprints. I read this crazy stat. It said something like, I'm sure I'm butchering it, but it was something along the lines of, after the age of 30, 90% of the population will never run a sprint again. I don't know if this is true or not, but I thought to myself, how many people do I know that have not ran a sprint in years? And I don't want to be that person. I want to be able to run sprints for as long as I possibly can in life. So I figure I better start doing it again right now so I can stay in shape. And I also want to see how low I can get my 40-yard dash. So I'm probably going to, maybe this weekend I'll go measure it. I'll go get a legit measurement on a field. Take the wife with me. Hit a football field, 40-yard dash. See what I can do. Yeah, I feel like that's just a key indicator of like your physical condition that you're in, and being able to sprint is one. It's just like awesome. Like being able to push your body in that way for as long as you can in life, I think is an awesome thing. And I don't want to just get strong. I want to, stay in good physical shape, cardiovascular wise, but then also just like general athleticism. All right, third and final set of box squat. Here we go. Three sets of box squat. Oh yeah, the legs are feeling it. All right, our next exercise is going to be heel elevated goblet squat. Let's go and get set up for that. Tear my weights down. All right, grab a plate. I am going to use a 25-pound bumper plate for this. And we got 3 sets of 8 for heel elevated goblet squat. I'll be doing extra reps because I am capped out on my dumbbells. Alright, first set, here we go. First set down. First set down. Alright, 30 more seconds, and then we'll jump into our second set. Set 2. Second set down. Alright, 2 sets down. Apologies for any racket that you can hear going on outside. They are chopping trees down outside of the house right now. Alright, we got 1 set left of heel elevated goblet squat. One set left of heel elevated goblet squat. All right, 25 more seconds. I didn't really read that. Which book character would make the best workout sidekick today? I think I read that question wrong earlier. All right, I'm gonna think on that one here. Think on that one. Wow, I knock out this last set. Alright. 3 sets of heel elevated goblet squat. Oh, the legs are feeling it. Next up, we've got Romanian deadlift. 3 sets of 10. Go ahead and get set up for that. I am going to take these easy today because my hamstrings are tight. And this pushes the hamstrings big time. So I'm going to go easy on the Romanian deadlifts. I would rather go a little bit lighter this week and not pull a hamstring, than pull a hamstring and put myself out for multiple weeks. So, if you're ever in a situation like that, that is my recommendation. Don't go light just to go light because you don't feel like lifting heavier weights during a certain exercise, but if you're worried about pulling something because something's a little tight, a little tender, it's okay to take it easy for a certain exercise. It's about the gains over the long term, not the short term. All right, 5 seconds, and we'll jump into our Romanian deadlift. Once again, we're doing 3 sets of 8 here. Do some bonus reps if you need to. I'm kind of just working on loosening up the hamstrings today. All right. Okay, 2 minutes rest. Book character that would make the best workout sidekick today. One, I need to read more books. No doubt about it. I try to read a fiction book every night before I go to bed. Not a full book. I try to read a little bit of fiction from a book every night before I go to bed. To be honest, I don't do a great job of that. I don't read every night, but I would love to get in that habit of doing it every night. I'm probably like 50% of the time right now, if I'm being honest. But I'm reading a book. It's at least a trilogy. There might be more, actually. The Way of Kings is the name of the first book. Brandon Sanderson, I believe, is the author. Phenomenal series. First book, so good. So good. I think this is the third one in the series. They're pretty long. And like I said, I don't do a great job of reading every night. I've been on this book. I think it's around 1,200 pages maybe. I could be totally off. I think that's what it is though. I've been reading this book for probably like 2/3 of a year. I've probably been on this book for like 200 days. Maybe even a little bit more. Just because I read just a tiny bit each night. And like I said, I only do like 50% of nights. I need to keep me accountable to that though. Doing more reading each night before I go to bed. Every night that I do, man, my sleep is so much better than nights that I don't. And my dreams are more like alive. I just get so much better rest. I think that's the best way to fall asleep. Reading a fiction book till you just can't keep your eyes open any longer. I can't do nonfiction though. If I try to read nonfiction before I go to bed, my mind just starts racing with like ideas and stuff, and then it just makes it harder for me to fall asleep. And then I want to write things down too. All right, second set. Set 2 done. Okay, let's see what question we got next. Let's get a little hot take in here. A little hot take action. Right, hot take numero uno. The movie is almost always better than the... Oh, wow. I bet that just gets some people fired up. The movie is almost always better than the book. Disagree. Like I said, I don't do as much reading as I would like, but when I get into a book, I get into it. I just become immersed in the world of that story. For example, I was talking about yesterday, the Narnia books. Incredible. And I feel like the characters, you just build them in your mind, because the books your mind leaves some creativity up to like determining exactly what the characters look like, what they sound like, all these different nuances. And so I feel like it almost brings more life to the story when you're reading the book. And then obviously there's typically just so much more content, because a movie, you got to squeeze everything into like 2 hours, so stuff gets cut out, stuff gets lost. And sometimes the characters just don't match your ideas. So if I read a book first, I can't think of a time in which I've said, wow, that movie was better than the book. Now, I don't always read the books for movies that I watch. Most of the time I don't. Because let's be honest, books are a huge investment. You are investing your most precious resource, your time, into something that's hopefully you're going to enjoy. But I've started books before and been like, not interested, put them down. So it takes some serious, like, you really gotta love the story to to keep going for a book. I'm not somebody that could, like, I will turn a movie off if I don't like the movie. I know some people, I was just talking to my buddy yesterday. I was watching Sinners the other day. Not a fan. I didn't really enjoy it. That's probably a hot take. Didn't enjoy Sinners. But one of my buddies, I told him, I was like, yeah, I watched like half of it, and I just watched a recap video on YouTube because I didn't want to finish the rest of it. Like, I won't even commit an extra hour to something if I'm not enjoying it. So a book, no chance I would go through if I didn't really like it. All right, last set of Romanian deadlift. Good stuff, good stuff. All right, next up we've got hip thrust / glute bridges. I'll be using a dumbbell. We're doing 3 sets of, drum roll, 12. I'm doing bonus reps because I'm capped out on my dumbbells. Okay, quick reminder. If you have not done so yet, be sure to download the lifting log. I built that for you for free so that you can keep track of all of your weights every single lift. That's how we ensure that we're getting stronger over time. So go to the link in the description below if you're on your phone. Click that link, and it's going to prompt you to make a copy of the lifting log so you can track all your weights right on your phone. If you're watching on your computer or TV, you can just scan that QR code from your phone. That'll take you to the same page. Next hot take. Friends is overrated. Sitcoms peaked with The Office. Man, I disagree again. I don't know if I've found one of these that I agree with so far. I'm a bigger Friends fan than I am a fan of The Office. Also, The Office came after Friends. So saying it peaked with The Office, that kind of seems, I guess that makes sense, but I'm a bigger Friends fan. I like The Office. I think The Office is great. Maybe I just got burnt out on it towards the end. Oh, we got our first set of hip thrust / glute bridges. To be continued on thoughts on that question. First set down. As I was saying, I love The Office. I would say I love The Office, not just I like it, I love The Office. I think it's great. I think it's hilarious. But I am much more willing to rewatch episodes of Friends. In fact, I love rewatching episodes of Friends than I am to watch episodes of The Office. I just feel like I connect with the friendship that they have in Friends. It brings me more joy. Maybe The Office. Yeah, I was alive, but not like watching TV at the point that Friends was running. So maybe it's something with like I saw The Office when it was coming out live, and I feel like that would make me more interested in it actually. But yeah, I don't know. The tail end of The Office, they started bringing on new characters. The Will Ferrell character, Michael Scott left, and that just sort of kind of like went awry for me. And I just felt like The Office was more like silly, whereas Friends was more focused on the relationships. So I'm a bigger Friends guy. Bigger Friends guy. Okay, next set of hip thrusts. Here we go. Two sets down. Feeling it in hammies. All right, rest up, minute and 30 seconds, then we'll jump into our third and final set of hip thrusts. Let's get a new hot take in the queue. Ketchup belongs on eggs. Breakfast gatekeepers are wrong. Breakfast gatekeepers. I agree. I think this is the first one I've agreed with so far. I agree. I will say I'm not somebody who typically puts ketchup on my eggs. I'm taking the ketchup, I'm throwing it on my hash browns. I'm putting ketchup all over my hash browns. And then, look, call me crazy. I'm the kind of guy who sort of like mixes all my food together. Sometimes, like, I enjoy a little bit of hash browns with a little bit of eggs. I like the combo. So I'm taking some of that hash browns with the ketchup and mixing it with the eggs. Totally agree. Three sets of glute bridges. Next up, we have got calf raises. Go ahead and throw it on a plate or some slightly elevated surface that you can put your toes on. We're gonna be doing 3 sets of 20. Yeah, 3 sets of 20. Three sets of 20. I like to use straps when I'm doing calf raises. Helps me take the weight out of my forearms and focus it in my calves. First set down. Rest up for set number 2. All right, second set. Getting a plate in for the calf raises. It just lets you hit your calves so much better. Second set down. All right, third and final set, last set of calf raises. Ooh, maybe I jumped the gun there. Alright, 19 reps. Okay, next up, keep going on your calf raises if you're still working on those. Next up, we've got our ab finisher. Next up, we've got our ab finisher. We will be doing superset of bicycle crunches and planks, which actually I'm gonna need to get a second bench out for planks. Okay, jumping right into it. Bicycle crunches. 15 more seconds. We're gonna superset this with our planks. Straight into a 30-second plank. Good job, guys. 10 more seconds. Alright, back to bicycle crunches. Last set. Ten more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Plank. Last exercise for the entire workout. 30-second plank, and we've only got 20 seconds left. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Good work, guys. We have finished the workout. We knocked this thing out of the park today. Leg day. Toughest lift of the week, in my opinion. We got after it today. Thank you for showing up. I'm going to be here every day, Monday through Saturday, to keep myself and you accountable to getting your lift in every single day. So thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't yet, download the lifting log linked in the description below. It's there for you to keep track of all your weights to make sure you're getting stronger week over week. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done so yet either. Bring a friend tomorrow. Tell them what we're doing. Tell them to come get stronger with us. Peace.